Remi, you were the director of Long Way North, the animated film Contender, and Leon, you were his storyboard artist, one of his storyboard artists. Remi, start by telling me where the idea for this film came from.
It started in 2005. It's a long time ago. And the scriptwriter went to me with the idea of the movie. It was one page only at that time. And we started working and sort of ping pong between text and drawing. And we finally, eventually met a producer in 2008. So it was the idea of the first idea was the scriptwriter's idea, and they set up the whole ideas that the girl will be looking for her grandfather in the ice pack, and that she would be a Russian, and etc. etc.
Mm-hmm. Now, as I understand it, this is your directorial debut. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. That's my first experience as a director. I've been assistant director of several French and European movies, like Secret of Kells and The Painting. I've learned a lot with all the directors, and my plan was to go to direct animation movie, and I wanted to be to learn what was the big machine, how to use it, and what it was exactly to produce that length of animation. And the other thing was that I wanted to learn how to tell that story, those story of 1 hour and a half, so I went to storyboarding and start with as a storyboarder of long feature just before this experience.
Mm-hmm. So then working with a storyboard artist is nothing new to you then. Talk about both of you can chime in on this, especially you, Leon, the importance of storyboarding in an animated feature film.
Well, you know, in our industry, most of the people are really focused on the technique, you know, on how the movie looks good. But we sometimes tend to forget that a good movie is also a very good story, a very good and solid story, and how to create emotion. And that's what's the challenge of the movie, because we didn't have the money to impress the people. You know, the budget was very low, so we have to find a way to, of course, tell a very simple story, but to create as much emotion that we could with the character, some character movement, some character relationship. And create empathy for them. So that was the biggest challenge, especially with such a simple movie.
And it goes, and that sort of problems are solved in the animatic, in the storyboards. Okay. We are more used to talk about animatic, which is the step after a storyboard, which is the step where you are filming your storyboard, adding some voices and some songs and even some music, and to do a sort of draft of the whole movie. And so Liancho and I are very keen about creating those things. We were actually a team. Liancho, Maëlys Valade, another storyboarder, me as a storyboarder too. Sorry, Benjamin Massoubre is the editor, and the scriptwriter, the final scriptwriter, Fabrice de Costil. So we were working as a team during several months to tie up the draft of the movie, to be sure that the arc of the drama will be here. That's the attention will be kept, and that's the public will be driven to the end.
Absolutely. To give you a little bit of comparison, if you compare with the big studios, especially American big studios, they usually have maybe 10 to 15 storyboarders, and they storyboard for maybe sometimes 3, 4, 5 years, depends on the movie. So it's a very long time. We had to do, I think, the whole movie, just the three of us, 3 storyboarders, in approximately 4 months. So it was a huge challenge, but because we had so great brainstorming all together, it was a really great teamwork. And of course, Remi knows where he wants to go, you know, and I think that's why it makes things easier. And also when you are in a kind of emergency, you can suddenly have some actually interesting ideas.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that, excuse me, struck me about the animation in this film is that there's a lot of attention to detail, especially in the backgrounds. Can you talk a little bit about that? And I mean, is that something that you plan out in storyboarding and animatics to make sure that that kind of detail is in every frame?
How can I say, the style, the graphic style of the movie has been a long journey too. Which it starts with very early drawing and with lines and with details and with more realistic character design. And the whole idea, because we had only we knew that we will be working with a small budget, was to decide for a style that will be that we will be able to do the movie with. I'm sorry, my English is just not.
Oh, that's okay.
Well, to find my idea was to find a style that would be simple enough to be and beautiful enough to be able to do the movie with a small budget.
Yes.
And so I remove loads of details on the character design. As much as possible, and I just remove the lines too, so the light will be the color could be saturated and work the spectrum of the color could be extended very much, and so it was the graphic style have been set up and pushed with a very good artist named Patrice Suot. He's a painter, and he went to all those beautiful colors that we can see in the movie. He's a magician of colors.
And that's also a big challenge, because nowadays movie, people tend to push as much details as they can, you know, especially in CG, like to put every texture, every detail. And for us, it was totally the opposite. We had more like, how to say, we were more like paintings, like more impressionist. You know, at that time when there was a lot of very, very realistic paintings, and then you have this movement called the Impressionists who came. And of course, at the beginning, they were very, you know, people, you don't like them, you say, well, they don't know how to paint, you know. But then, of course, with the time, they discovered, okay, it was also another way of painting. It was also interesting. And I think that was also our challenge, to prove people that, okay, you have people who want to do a lot of details, but you can also create emotion with as less details as well, you know. Mm.
And so we try to find a balance. Actually, working with a very interesting paintings, which is the posters for train company in US during the 40s and 50s, and so they were advertising the destination of the train, and for example, advertising for a lake here or in the Rocky Mountains, and they were using very saturated color and serigraphy simplicity. So you have used those big saturated flat colors, flat surfaces, and with a little bit details here and there that will create a beautiful composition. And so that was very inspiring for us. And that's something that we have been trying to match. Working the composition with big flat colors here and there, and a little bit of details here and there to give the impression, the whole impression. I'm working a lot on the realism of the lights itself, with few colors only.
So it's more the lights than the details.
Mm-hmm. The colors certainly do go a long way in helping to create an emotion, and I mean, just looking at your poster in the background there, I'm reminded of how cold I felt watching the movie. You know, can you talk a little bit about the importance of choosing the correct color palette for an animated film?
Yes. How can I put that? I really need to talk a little bit more about Patrice Suot, because he was the magician here, and he's a painter. Actually, he's trained how for oil painting. You know, the pigments, you know, the chemical of the colors, you know, the physics of the colors. So when he had to explain it to for the last stage of the video work, he could talk to the technicians, but he's too very good at Photoshop and that sort of thing. So he invents plenty of tools for us to work with, and to be able to deliver so many backgrounds in the right time. And concerning the palette, that was obviously one of the core of our movie. So we work with and what is cool with this design is just we can use, because we don't have lines in the middle of the
character.
Yeah, with the character we don't have outline, so the light can penetrate the character and go through. So the image can be pushed a little bit more than with traditional animation, hand-drawn animation with outline.
But the thing is, Patricio is not only a great painter, like to reproduce like reality or whatever, but it's also very good to choose the right color to communicate the right emotion on each sequence. For example, you can see in the eyes, it's not only gray, white, or gray. Sometimes it has some very unexpected color that you can find in the artwork, like greens, orange, pink sometimes, or sometimes gold as well, And I think that's the strength of Patrice, and also the strength of the movie. Like he can sometimes make some very unexpected choice.
That was the idea for the eyes. We decided in very early stage not to play the eyes as a white and blue environment. We knew that because it's on the top of the sphere of the Earth, so the light is very comes to the atmosphere, and with a very low angle. So you have loads of diffractions here, and the colors goes completely mad. And people actually, we had some sailors said to us that the movie reminds the beautiful colors that they have been looking at when they were sailing the North Ice, because those environments are really crazy. Actually, very often they are cloudy, and you can see anything, and it's probably more than half year when it's cloudy. But when you have a little bit of light, the light goes crazy, and it's yellow, it's green, and it's not as when the weather is good, it's white and blue, but the rest of the day the light is crazy. So that was one of the choice we made in very early stage.
You mentioned before that you didn't have a lot of money to make this film, that you had a small budget. Would you say that those limitations helped you creatively? Because the animation in this film is so unique, and so different from anything else that's out there right now. Would you say those limitations probably helped you come up with a unique style?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's true. From the beginning, I wanted to have a pipeline and a graphic style that will be specifically made for that sort of budget. The budget is €6 million, so it's 20 times less than an American big studio movie. So it's not a lot of money, but yeah, surely it helped us to do it, but. Probably we can talk about the animation in a sort of Japanese style.
Yeah, because we were. I mean, I was also the head of animation of the movie, and of course we have to choose the simplicity because of the budget. We have to make some sacrifices. And I remember when I was talking to Remi, I was saying, okay, Remi, we won't be able to impress our animators colleagues, because we won't be able to create like great fluid animation, so we have to make some sacrifice. But instead of that, we have to put everything on the emotion, on the acting, on the storytelling, because that's, let's say, much cheaper than a lot of effects and things like that. And that's, let's say, our only cards. But at the same time, if you want my opinion, when I see movies like the first Alien, I don't know if you remember the first Alien, they didn't have much budget for that. And they try to hide the alien monster as much as they can, and it creates this. I think they have to find other solution to communicate the compensate. So it was much more interesting than nowadays a VFX movie when you can show everything, and you're not into the movie anymore. You see what I mean? So I think simplicity can be also a good thing
to work with. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you both so much, and congratulations on the film. It's wonderful, and thank you for taking the time to talk with me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Have a good one.